at the end, maybe let the counselors ask questions, but we'll let it be free flow, so take it away.
Right, so we weren't sure exactly what the layout was gonna be, so have you guys had a chance to look at the proposal?
Yes.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if we need to go through step by step or how we want to do it, so my thought was we'll just kind of introduce who we are, a group of our family of companies, and then we can go through, we brought kind of experts from each department, talk through any questions you guys may have, so we'll just kind of start from there, we'll just go from there. So, well, my name is Jerry Brown. This is Ann Riley, we were the ones that submitted the proposal to you. So I really want to talk to you about what you guys have asked for is a lot of stuff, right? A lot of disciplines. And so it's a good fit for us though, because we're three companies under one umbrella. So we have the same ownership, we're in the same building, so we have 50 plus experts. So some of the things you're asking for us to do, that's not my specialty, but we have people that do that kind of thing. So we do feel like this is a job for a company that has multiple people, because it would be almost impossible to be an expert at all these things. So we have 50 plus experts, all pulling in the same direction, in the same building. Info Media, which is a web design portion of our company, UpTick, which is the digital marketing piece, and then Groundworks, which is the video part. And then we have 50 people there, but we also outsource and bring in people that are more specialized in something, because we've done that for one part here. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So so Info Media has been in business since '94. UpTick has been around for the last 7 years, and then Groundworks has been around for about 3 years, I think. So, but we've worked nationally with all kinds of companies, from Texas A&M to Coca-Cola Modeling to local people like Larry Keith. So we have a wide variety of people we've worked with over the years, but we've also worked with a lot of counties and municipalities. And so, short quick, I read all these: City of Amore, Mountain Road, Trustville, Irondale, a lot of other counties in Colorado, and gas boards. So we understand what you guys are doing. We understand the bidding process. We work with a lot of cities. We currently still work with some of these cities, and so doing different things, some of it's web stuff, some of it's social media management, a wide variety of things. So we understand your space, understand what your needs are. I want to talk through maybe the scope of services real quick, and so we kind of group these together based on your RFP. So I'm going to kind of see this. So at UpTick, she is in charge of all production. So a lot of these people work underneath her, and she kind of shepherds a lot of stuff at UpTick. And then there's the PR piece. We want to have somebody talk about that. So we're really, if you're okay, we want to kind of just talk through strategy. You guys know what we're providing, and maybe how we came about the services and the way we do things. So I'll let Ann take over here.
Well, I'm about to take it to start straight.
Yeah.
So the first part of this is the website based things, the first three really. We've got design and development, we have the support piece, and then we have managing the Gmail account, all of which you asked for. So like Jerry said, we're not experts of everything, but we brought them with us. So I'm going to bring Clay Connor up, who's from Info Media, which is the web design part of what we're talking about.
So we have the proposal right here.
Okay, perfect. Well, good evening, how are y'all? Good. Well, I'm Clay Connor, as Jerry said. I'm one of the partners at Info Media. I've been working here since 1999. And we have been doing this for a long time. Hey, good, Alex. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Alex is one of my clients.
In the real world.
In the real world. And so, aside from serving law firms, we do serve a lot in the municipality and county government space. And one of the things that in our experience that we have seen over the years when it comes to municipal websites is they need to be able to strike a balance between being utilitarian, but also being a marketing piece. You want to, obviously we're very familiar with the city of Homewood. And Homewood is an incredible place to come and relocate, to live, to start a business, to recreate. And so you need to be able to kind of talk through those attractive pieces, but at the same time, people need to know how to get a permit, they need to know how to get a business license. And so being able to have an elegant design married with great content, well-placed calls to action will help the user, regardless of who they are, get to what the information they're looking for. And so we have an incredible group of talented designers trying to figure out how do we think about all these different audience types, pull them together, and take them through a process, you know, regardless of what they're, you know, who they are and what they're coming for. And so, obviously we want the website to be designed well and it's attractive, it looks good, it represents the city well, but it also has to be a functional piece where someone on the city side can easily administrate it. And so we take great care of understanding the different types of content that you will be updating, and building out a back end that makes it simple to do so. And so, not only do we build out those systems, we give you full training, and we'll train you as much as you need to be trained. It's not to say it's difficult, but sometimes you have turnover in those positions, and you want to make sure they're well trained on how to do so. And then beyond that, you need to have an empathetic, and a responsive support team who's there for you from a day-to-day standpoint for needs that may arise, at any point. And so, we actively support, host and maintain over 600 websites. It's a huge part of what we do. Our goal usually is same-day turnaround on any request that's of a simple nature. Anything more complex, we'll kind of set expectations so you can, you know, understand what you're looking at from a timing standpoint or investment standpoint. We offer 24/7 emergency customer support. If you call us at 3 a.m. on Saturday, we'll take care of your needs. I hope you don't do that. But we will do it if you're there, if you have those needs. So, that's just a quick overview of how we think about the website from a strategic and philosophical perspective. And again, having been in the space for 27 years, we kind of know the lay of the land, and we'd definitely love to leverage our experience for the city benefit.
You guys want to take questions?
Yeah, any questions that you may have? Immediately?
Let you guys run all the way through.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
So the next part of this is social media management and boosting, which I know is really important to you. We did take a look at what you're doing now, we see that you're often posting multiple times a day. So we have some recommendations and just some thoughts on that, but I wanted to talk through what the boosting part of this really means. To put it as simply as possible, it means that you're reaching the people that you want to reach, and you're not reaching the people that don't care. So you're putting your message in front of the perfect audience. And the way that we do that, we can target by location, we can target by age, gender, we can get in front of the people that you want to talk to, and you're not wasting any money or time on people that you don't want to talk to. It's very effective and very cool. As far as the social media management goes, I'm actually going to ask Madison Briggs to come up. She's the head of our content marketing team, and Madison's been working very closely with all of our social media clients for a couple of years now.
You just wanna tell them how the process works?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Madison Briggs, I'm the head of content marketing. So really anything that has words in it, I'm supervising and making sure that the messaging is clear and what you guys are looking for. In terms of social media strategies, we have a big monthly strategy sheet that we go over with you guys. It's very flexible. You guys can leave notes, put things in there yourselves. You're really as involved as you'd like to be. We have some clients that we put everything in place and we don't really hear from them and they just trust us to talk about what they want to talk about. And then we have other clients where, like I said, they'll leave notes and put things that they want to cover. And we work with them constantly, really, to make sure that we're talking about what needs to be talked about. And that includes last minute things, you know, things come up that you need to get the word out about. And so we're very good about quick turnarounds with that, because social media changes on a dime. And then we also have a very easy to use platform where we schedule all of our posts. You can go and see every post that's scheduled for the next week. You can leave comments and I will get email notifications to make any edits if you want to swap out a photo or the link's not quite working or you want to change strategy altogether. It's very easy to use. That's kind of it. Like I said, it's as involved as you want it to be. It's a lot of back and forth. Just making sure that we get the messaging right and we have the voice down and that you guys are happy with it.
Thank you.
I want to go back to the boosting part. We noticed you guys have a lot of followers or friends on Facebook that very, very low engagement. And part of that is because of the Facebook algorithm. So only 1% of your friends actually see your post if you're a business. So So you think about 1%, no wonder you're not getting the engagement you want. So the boosting dollars make sure, number one, first pass, that we at least talk to all the people that want to hear from you. There's thousands of people that they don't really know you're putting anything out because they're not seeing. So it's unfortunate, that's the way Facebook works, it's very inexpensive. And so whatever boosting dollars you guys give to us, every bit of that goes out the door. We don't keep any of that because we're managing your social. So, our first pass would be, let's talk to everyone that is your friend, and they want to hear from you. And then the second rate would be just to blanket the people who live in the city of Homewood. So we felt like the boosting budget would help to make sure your message is out there right now. You're doing a lot of work and a lot of energy, but little results. So,
And I have one more comment just here, that something that occurred to me about the platform. The platform that we use to schedule social media posts. Some people are very intimidated by the thought of, setting up a login and learning how this works. And I always tell people, if you can comment on a Facebook post, you can use this platform. It is really that easy. It functions almost exactly like Facebook does. So it's very intuitive, very simple to use. So the next part is video production. Brian, I think this is you.
So we gave you two prices. One, we weren't sure if you guys were wanting us to supply everything, so that price is different. We assumed that you had all this stuff in place, and you really wanted us to maintain it, do the work, manage it. And so I told you at the beginning, we typically, there's certain things that are maybe out of our exact scope. We create tons of videos and corporate videos, but as far as the day-to-day management, we wanted to bring Brian Collins from the Atomic over. He's a Homewood resident. I'll let him talk about that.
Yeah, I'm a Homewood resident living on Mayfair Drive. I'm currently on the Arts Council, so I know Homewood. I'm invested in Homewood. And my background is in sort of twofold. One is in broadcast production. Worked on a network level for about 8 years. And then have been in post-production and on the advertising side for basically the bulk of my career, working on everything from national clients to local businesses. I'm sort of what you would call a production monkey. I can handle a lot of different things, everything from the creative to the technical. So I fully understand the need to have a seamless presentation of the city's business to people. Understand the importance of it just being clean and clear and confident, so that the message is delivered and it's not, the technology does not distract you. It doesn't distract the people that are watching. So it's something that's really in my wheelhouse, and from your point of view, you have a single point of contact, but we just have a far richer team that has a lot of competencies to bring to the table. If there's any questions on that, I'm happy to answer.
We'll let y'all finish up.
Okay.
We probably will call you back up.
Okay. And then PR, Anthony, you want to come up? Yeah.
So the public relations piece, we have Anthony Cooper with us. I don't know if you know his name, but he's very well known in the public relations world. So we'll let him come and talk about that.
Really well done. Well, thank you guys for letting us participate today. So, my background, I've done a lot of PR, primarily in the nonprofit realm. Worked with my dad at Jimmy Hill Mission for a very long time. And when it comes to PR, you want to accentuate positive. You want to position yourself. You want to find ways to make the community engaged. See where they fit in the big picture. I think most of your residents want to be involved. They may just not be able to identify. Public relations, of course, all the other elements that we talked about today can be very compelling. Make it a place. I know that people who live in Homewood love living here, are proud to live here, and PR just it's kind of like when you show pictures of your kids. Right, you're so proud of something they did. A guy I work with always shows me his kids' wrestling videos or whatever. That's kind of the way we want the residents of Homewood to be. We want them to brag to their friends outside of Homewood how proud they are of Homewood and the events that you guys do. In the presentation it talked about blogging, of course, which has already been discussed, but also press releases and media advisories. A lot of times places have events, but not everybody always knows about them. And getting those in front of the right people, getting the right people there. I think another element we're offering was a day of, event media relations. That can happen a number of ways, you know, we can certainly be your spokesperson and work with you on those rounds, but it's also nice, I always love coaching people. You know, other people are like, I'd love to be in front of the camera, but I get nervous, I don't know what to say. You know, we can definitely provide that, kind of make it easy for you. And some simple tricks, you know, I say that we've used over the years that, you know, when the media comes. Remember I was talking to a former member of the media just a moment ago, and, it's always fun when the media comes and that station becomes proud that they're associated with Homewood as well. So, you know, our main idea is to let people not only know Homewood, but almost like Homewood as a personality, get to know Homewood and fall in love with it. And so, again, thank you for the invitation, and we would be very honored to take on this project.
The final thing on the list up here is just other services. We kind of, put together other things that were requested. So as far as designing signs, we're really designing anything on this list, I feel very confident saying that we could definitely handle it for you. We have a wonderful design team, they're very, very talented. And anything that we haven't done before, I feel very confident we can figure it out. We have so many skills and so much background knowledge. I don't think it's a stretch to say that, so.
Yeah, we had there were some things that they were not quite defined, so we just kind of put them in there as needed. So we put a design time in there for you guys, graphic design time, a lot of the PR stuff was as needed as well. And then the website for the Parks and Rec, who knows? Who knows what it's gonna be, so some of those were to be determined, but I think everything else we kind of spelled out, exact pricing, some of that, the rest of it's just hourly. Because we don't know, and again, that's why I say, I think a lot of this stuff is such a wide variety, having a team of people to be able to tackle that is important, so we feel confident we have the team in place to do that, so we love the opportunity to do that with you guys. I have a question, is it a 3-year agreement, a 3-year contract, or is it a 2-year contract? 3, okay, so.
It could, yeah, well, I think 3, and then there's always the option to. Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's just an
So,
element.
yeah. So, yeah, to me, that's another benefit of working with a company. If, as parts move, we have the leadership in place to make sure everything goes off without issues. So the small group of people or an individual who would, if something went wrong, we would be kind of in trouble. So, yeah, so you guys have questions that we really, again, we didn't have an exact.
Yeah,
format.
I think that's absolutely, I think y'all done a great job, and, yeah, I'll let, if any of the counselors have questions, then.
I have a few, questions for you. So, mentioning that you have 3 different entities sort of under one umbrella, and we have a point person that everyone, we all know that's who we communicate with.
Yes.
It's like an accountant kind of.
Yeah.
Is there, I feel like the biggest challenge that we face is, everything's so fragmented with computer information. And so, can you address a little bit about, like, you mentioned about content as far as, I feel like people, like you said, they wanna know, they just don't know where to find out, or, I see people say all the time, oh, I wish I knew that. They're getting information from us in sort of a fragmented way, and, media fragmented. So, can you talk a little bit about delivering a cohesive message, consistent, constant, stream of information, everyone knows where to go, just bringing that under one sort of, effort.
We would definitely work with you. We have, one topic we're particularly fond of when it comes to messaging, it's called the storyboarding method. I'm not sure if you've heard of it or not, but, so we use that to make sure that the message is as clear as possible. The title is a little bit different because you're a municipality and not necessarily a business, but the same idea would apply. We want to make sure that what you're wanting to communicate is coming across clearly, and then we would take that message, push it out on Facebook, and like I was saying, give it internet to the right people, so people that don't know that you're talking to them on Facebook will just focus on it.
I'm speaking microphone.
We worked with City of Mount Morris, which is very cool, with on their social media. So if you were to go look at it right now, we wrote almost all of it.
You're right, I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot.
Stuart will just come in and post it himself sometimes, but, we kind of work with him. And so, and we just communicate with them, and he'll say, either Stuart himself or.
Can't hear a word she's saying.
Say, yeah, we got this coming up, we would love for you to get the word out, and we kind of work with this team, and it's really great. It's pretty seamless.
I think your biggest challenge is you have so many messages.
Yeah.
So what you were talking about today, just make sure.
She's not talking to Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you. Okay, yeah, I think your biggest challenge is, or would be for us, is helping you guys to figure out what is the most important thing to talk about, because I know everybody, every department wants to get their voice, and so, yeah, we would have to create, it would be a constant refocusing on what is important today. And so your consultant, or your person, one of their main goals is they're focused in to help you win, so they would be the person at top level departments, we have to constantly be adjusting that strategy for sure.
My last question,
Jennifer?
jump in, let's see, sorry, oh, yeah. I guess this would be more for the website person, as far as a two-way conversation, as far as, our constituents needing to report, pothole, or just, is there a way to open up the website portal for folks to be able to communicate? How does that, walk us through that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Different municipalities have handled that differently. You see some people put like action center or something related to that, so that you can have commonly asked questions and make it clear on, hey, how do we get this taken care of? So a pothole's a good example, street light out, et cetera. And we can, figure out probably a couple different ways to get that done. We probably want to understand kind of who is a point person for all the different types of issues you might face in those scenarios, so we can create an easy way for them to get immediately notified when that kind of thing happens. So yeah, there's probably a couple of different ways to address that.
So along those same lines, have you ever developed like a citizen portal or a board?
We develop portals like that. I think it's, every municipality is probably a little bit different, so there's no standard out of the box thing that we've developed particularly for that. So I think the question would be, what kind of functionality are you looking for? And certainly we could, look at addressing that. Yeah.
So again, a follow-up question to this conversation. So thinking about functionalities, so it'd be one thing if there was a contact form, say a street light, and it brought it to one person, but digging deeper, I think, functionality that would maybe look at, what's the follow-up on that request, and kind of time stamping it, and figuring out things like who's gonna follow up, did they follow up, and having data, later on of how many of those types of requests were submitted, so we can kind of track
Sure.
those things. Are those things that are possible?
Yes, absolutely. You could build out a back end that would allow the management of those requests, so that you could, kind of interact through that portal. You could create a historical log of all those kinds of things. So in that way you could obviously extract reports and all of that. So yes, that's very possible.
And kind of related to the website too, you referenced in the proposal about, the existence of 45 plus permit application forms and checklists on the website. What are your thoughts around that specifically as far as streamlining and improving it?
That's a hard question to answer. I don't know, this might be an 80-20 rule kind of thing. I'd love to know, like real world experience, what y'all have seen. Usually there's gonna be some forms that get always hit. There's gonna be some pretty obscure forms that you probably have to have up there from, statutory reason or whatever, but, I would say don't just make the website a kitchen sink. Certainly, put the ones up there that definitely need to be there. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that's fine. I mean, I guess we're just trying to figure out what our options are, in this
Certainly,
conversation, so it's.
you want to leverage, if you have website analytics tools as well, and part of the process we go through in the front end is understanding kind of how the website is currently being leveraged. I'm assuming there's some type of analytics installed on the site, and so kind of going through that, not just taking anything for granted, so.
I mean, as far as the kitchen sink reference, the important thing for us is to have full functionality, I think, with the website and making things, available conveniently for residents, but at the same time, they need to navigate, know how to get there, so it's balancing those things. But utility of the website, is definitely key, as well as just having, the PR aspects of this communications. Utility is really key.
One of the least fun parts of the process is developing a full-fledged site map, kind of blueprint architecture for what pages need to exist and how they relate to one another. But that's the stuff that we do on the front end. We want to tackle that head on, so that we can understand, what content are we working with, what content does not need to be there, what needs to be there doesn't exist already. How do how do we create a flow chart, if you will, for how people navigate to those points. And so that's usually one of the first steps in the process we go through.
Thanks.
Sure.
And then finally, when you said that you would train us
Yes.
on the system, is that utilization of the information and, you still manage the system if there are any issues
Yes.
or changes or?
Think of that more of, your day-to-day, content needs. So if you need to get some kind of a post out there, a new page added, you need to remove somebody off of the city council page, add somebody else on, those kinds of things, you'll have the ability to do. There's no special program for you to know, no design sensibilities. All of that will be handled through the website. These are just more content-related updates.
Yeah, that's what I was just, actually, that's just what I was getting ready to ask. I had to turn my mic on because I forgot that I was way over here. This is probably a question for, videographer. So, obviously, we have, during the pandemic, pre-pandemic, our meetings were essentially all in person. People who wanted to come to the meetings came in person to the meetings. When the pandemic hit, obviously, we had to pivot and find new ways to be able to engage people and allow people to come to our meetings. So Zoom has become a major factor in meetings, and not just council meetings, but committee meetings, but also our, BZA and our, planning commission meetings. We don't see that changing. I think once that road was opened, it's gonna be real hard to
Absolutely.
put barricades up and shut that road down. So I
Right.
think people are gonna continue to want to have that availability. So that means that, we have to have bodies in the house, for those meetings. So every Monday night, not every Monday night, almost every Monday night, unless there's a fifth Monday, that's the only night we get off. So I guess talk us a little bit through about how that would work. Would there be a staff or a person who would be designated for that purpose, or, how y'all would see that? And, have y'all had experience managing large Zoom meetings? Because we do often have, people waiting to speak in Zoom meetings and wanting to participate, by Zoom. So tell us a little bit about.
Sure, every situation is gonna be a little bit different, and every equipment setup, everything is always gonna be a little bit different, so, I can't get absolutely specific until I really know the infrastructure that's in place. And we might see that there's some suggestions that we would make in terms of upgrading that. The good thing is that, this technology is not tremendously expensive, and there's a lot of flexibility that we can often add for not too much money. So as far as staffing, yeah, there would be somebody here. We would have the same, probably one or two people that'd be here every time, so you know them, they know you. And we all know the system in and out and can respond when things don't go well, because technology is not always reliable. As far as implementation of or working with Big Zoom meetings, Legacy of Hope, which is Alabama Oregon Center, that's the name of that new organization. We work with them on their Zoom meetings. So yeah, it's something that we're all pretty accustomed to, just because that's the way that we're communicating with each other these days. Does that answer? You sort of have
Yes,
multi-headed
that
hydra there, so
absolutely,
I'm not sure I addressed it.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
definitely addressed, and I came up with another question midstream, and now I don't remember what it was, but I'll.
You can make up one and I'll give you
Yeah.
the answer.
That's my little favorite part.
Wow.
Well, that's great, and thank you for your service on the art.
Sure, it's fun, it's fun.
Yeah.
We're not doing a whole lot now, as you all
Well, I
know,
know.
but, we will soon.
Yeah, okay, hopefully we'll. All right, anything else? I'll let you do this, okay, well, thank y'all so very much, for coming in and spending time with us and making this presentation. We will be, obviously, we're interviewing our other bidders, and then we will be making a decision, and we will be, communicating back with y'all, so we appreciate so much.
Do you guys have a time frame of when you're trying to make a decision?
Yeah, jump in, President Council?
So, this item is still in committee, at the moment, so, it's, the earliest it could be would be next Monday, when the committee meets again, and then report, that the committee could choose to report that out to council. Because this Monday was a holiday, we're doing both committee and council next week, so it'll go to council immediately. I'm not saying that will happen, it's gonna be up to the committee as to how that happens, that's just the next committee meeting. The next, if it doesn't happen then, the next committee meeting after that will be the following week, on Monday night, so it just sort of depends on the committee deliberations, I hate to give you too much tonight.
No, it's very
I know,
specific.
that's what I'm like,
Very specific, I didn't know if you were, y'all thinking this quarter or.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be, I would say, in the next.
Yeah, it's an existing item on the committee agenda, so it will come up at the committee meetings.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. If we can try anything else for you, let us know, and we'll just wait for your.
All right, well, thank y'all so much, thank you, all of you for coming in.